Hello everyone, this is Insane Game Freak here. Alright, so if you're watching this at the correct time, if you're watching this before the 17th and before 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be streaming on Twitch my live reactions to said ARM/Splatoon Direct that's happening. So if you want to see it, you can. So that's something to look forward to. But on the same day Nintendo announced this whole, oh look, here's another ARMS Direct with Splatoon trailer in it. We got a teaser yesterday from Sega saying, oh, here's a Sonic teaser for something in Sonic Forces. And then today it was revealed that the third playable character we had heard about is you. Whatever the hedgehog or whatever the rabbit or badger or whatever. Essentially, Sonic Forces has a feature that allows you to create your own character. Let the fan art commence! So yeah, Sonic Forces today released a trailer giving you a character that's, I guess, the generic variation of what we're dealing with is create your own character. And because the Sonic fandom has always been about this. Even if you are older and more mature and have a more refined taste and like Sonic games but don't like certain ones you used to as much, as a Sonic fan, we all went through that phase, especially when we were kids, of creating our own Sonic OCs. Now, some of us took it to this high extreme where we created the character, we use them in role-playing sessions, or her in role-playing sessions. We commissioned artists and spent money to have them drawn out in this cool, full-on art detail. We went through insane amounts of effort. You got people like that, and then you also got the ones who just literally just thought about it in their head. It's like something I've admitted to doing for watching certain animes, where I kind of insert myself into the anime and create my own character. Don't necessarily write out a whole bunch of shit, but kind of just do stuff. Like, for example, in One Piece, I created my own Straw Hat character and his abilities and his fighting style and his interactions with the Straw Hats. Some people did that when they were watching Sonic X or SatAM or The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a part of the Sonic fandom, alright? And it's a smart move on Sega's part to pretty much give you create your own character. And it's cool on that level. I mean, let's be real here. Even if you don't do that anymore, there's a part of you that's a little geeking out about you being able to create your own character. Even if you will never fucking admit it, you're probably geeking out a little bit. If you're a Sonic fan, you're geeking out a little bit about it. And that's all and cool. My major concern, and the reason why I'm not as excited about this as probably some people are, or I'm not making fun of it as hard as some other people are, is because of the concern that goes with it. We saw from the gameplay footage and from today that the main gimmick with this character is he seems to be what like Generations modern Sonic was. A mix of like 3D and 2D. And there's a lot of questions going around with, does that mean that like modern Sonic's only going to be 3D? And classic Sonic's only going to be 2D, and in the middle gameplay that modern Sonic had in Generations, is that going to be your OC's gameplay styles, that he'll just do a mix of both? I don't know. There's some cool things, like we saw them use the wisps, and they have like mechanical things like a flamethrower and stuff that they can use. Jetpacks. Apparently, each animal that you can make your OC into, each has different abilities, which is really fucking cool. They put a lot of thought and effort into just how they had this feature set up, and it makes the experience seem at least unique for your creator your own character. My biggest concern, though, is that you essentially traded out the entirety of the Sonic cast for create your own character. And I understand that that Sonic's friends unfortunately have a very negative stigma towards them. Other than like Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, Amy, Eggman, and some people give Blaze and Shadow a pass. The common consensus is that, or the general consensus, what I meant to say, is that people don't like Sonic's friends. They're like, oh, they're stupid, oh, they're gimmicky, Rouge is some Rule 34 furry bullshit, you know, all that ridiculous shit, all right? And so I feel like this was Sega's like, okay, I know we want a new character in the game, but we still get the complaints about Sonic's friends. So let's do a situation where you can create your own character because it fixes both problems. You get a new gameplay style, a new character, but not a character that's a part of the Sonic mythos all of a sudden. I mean, you can do it for future games. I'm just saying it's not a character that has his own story and needs to be overly focused on because he's a create your own character. Those characters don't usually have a major focus in the game in the sense of becoming a part of the universe. It's usually just some fan fiction shit that was funded. But my biggest concern is that it feels like the way he plays was like part of people's issues with Generations. It was like, okay, Generations could have easily had Blaze playable, Knuckles playable, Tails playable. And part of the reason why people thought that didn't happen was because they were getting used to the gameplay style. They finally got comfortable with it, and the next game would see them experiment. Well, Sonic Forces, continuing that gameplay style, is experimenting on the boost formula by having him have gadgets and shit, him or her have gadgets and shit. But then you're in the back of my mind, I was watching the trailer, and the only thing I think of is, why isn't that Tails? Why isn't that Tails? Why isn't that Tails? Why isn't that Tails? Why isn't that? Because literally, it looks like a gameplay style that would completely work for Tails. That Tails can still do some of the same general shit that Sonic and classic Sonic could do, but could also have his variations with his gadgets, which would be the better implementation of his gadgets. And since like what? So I don't think Tails has really ever had a good implementation of his gadgets in game. So that's all I was thinking. I'm like, I don't want Sonic's friends to be replaced by the create your own character. Now, and that's part of the reason why I'm fucking disappointed. I'm like, man, do you really? I get it, fine, okay. You the create your own character is a nice balance and it's supposed to appease both groups. But I like Knuckles. I like Amy. I like Tails. I like Blaze. I like Cream. Chaotic, you know, whatever, and Big the Cat, whatever. Shadow's fine, I guess. Rouge is fine, I guess, and Gamma's fine. But my point is, I like a good chunk of Sonic's friends. It doesn't have to be everybody, but I think we should still be able to get those characters. And I wish what they had done, just personally, is that if they're going to do, and it also depends on how heavily featured this OC character is going to be in the story, which would dictate my suggestion. Because my suggestion would be, since you can already create a character based off of the multiple species that are constantly used in the Sonic universe, why not have the default for certain animals be characters in the Sonic mythos? For example, since you have a cat option in the game for my OC to be, the default, if you don't want to make one, should be Blaze. Or for rabbits, it should be Cream. Or for hedgehogs, have Shadow or Amy be a default. For bats, Rouge. Echidnas, Knuckles. Because even if they don't have the same plot importance, at least then I wouldn't feel as bad. And granted, obviously, some fans will just go out of the way to recreate Blaze or Knuckles or Tails or whatever the fuck in the game anyway, because that's who they want to play as. The only problem is, and I think the other issue with this is that I think it was already mentioned that Sonic's friends would be in the story, so it just comes off redundant that, oh, Tails is talking to his OC version of Tails while the plot is going on. And I'm like, man, and I don't know, maybe that's just me. Like maybe the game could change if, and I know this is asking a lot, but maybe the game could change story wise. Like if the default is Tails for the Fox, and you just choose to have Tails as a default, then Tails still has the same sequences, but it's done from the perspective of him being into the battle, doing stuff, versus him on the sidelines, which is what it feels like all Sonic's friends are going to be like. So, and that's like that's why I'm conflicted about this feature. It's like, okay, I get it. The feature's cool. It adds stuff to the gameplay. It appeases both fan bases where you want a new part of gameplay, but some people don't want Sonic's friends. So here's a create your own character. If you don't care about him that much, you can make him generic as fuck and just go on about the game. Or if you want to, if you're into that shit, you can do it. I just don't want this to be. It just, to me, it irks me because it feels like a missed opportunity. I get the appeal, and I think it's a smart idea on Sega's part to have this as a feature in the game. But part of me is like, you see this character using gadgets and weaponry, and each of the animals have different abilities, different sub abilities, and I'm just sitting there in the back of my mind screaming, "Why didn't you have Blaze or Knuckles or Amy or Shadow or Tails playable?" Because it looks like you finally figured out, at least this is like the first time I've been inherently emotionally invested into Sonic Forces ever since it was announced. And it's just fucking, it's like, I'm interested, but I'm also disappointed because I'm like, man, I would have fucking killed to have a playable Blaze with the bonuses that you get for being a cat. That was great. It looked like they were like, okay, we're comfortable with Generations gameplay style. Let's do things to add to it. Like for this OC character, just give him fucking gadgets and shit. And you're just sitting there in the back of your mind screaming, Tails is right there, you assholes. Put him in the game. Change his model. Once again, this marketing-wise makes sense. It just hurts me as a fan because I like my side characters. I like my boy Tails, my main man Knuckles, my Blaze the cat, my Cream the rabbit, Cheese, fucking Amy, Big. You know, I don't fucking necessarily love all of them, but still. And I guess that's just my whole thoughts on it. It's like, it's a cool feature. I'm just saddened by the realization that this might be their compromise of, we can't really justify putting the characters in again because a lot of people don't like them. But we want you to have something new. And I saw the gameplay and I'm like, man, I would almost get this purely on PC just for the fucking sake of getting a competent mod that can mod it to look completely like Tails. Like that's how bad it irks me to see a character use gadgets and it not be Tails or a Sonic character, but like an original character. And I'm just like, man, fuck! But what are you gonna do? That's how the cookie crumbles, is what you gotta deal with. So yeah, I guess I'm happy about the news, but I'm saddened because of the repercussions it could potentially have. Because if the game does insanely well and Sonic Team's like, you know what? I guess we're just never going to use the other characters playable again. I'm hoping this might be like their last test drive of, okay, look, they like the gadget gameplay. I think we can get away with making Tails playable again. Because, like, I mean, fuck, man. I just miss my boys. I miss my boys and my girls to come back and do some stuff, man. It's almost like how I feel about Mario games and how not many of them let you play as Peach or Daisy or even like Waluigi or Wario, except unless it's a spin-off game. And the rare occasion you get to play as Luigi when you beat the main game as Mario. It's the same fucking thing. I like those characters. I want to play as those characters. I was so happy about 3D World purely because I could play as Peach and Rosalina, dude. Obviously, Toad had his legitness, and even Captain Toad, I was excited because I could play as Toadette. How many games can you play as Toadette that isn't a fucking sports game or a fucking party game? Not many. Hell, if this Mario Rabbids game comes out, it's the same thing. I'll be excited purely because I can play with other Mushroom Kingdom residents besides fucking Mario and Luigi. Mainly Mario, since, Nintendo doesn't understand that you created these cast of characters, and I can only play as fucking Mario. It sucks. I want to play as Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Toad, Toadette, Waluigi, Wario, man. Bowser Jr. maybe. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Bowser Jr. fan. Iggy is legit. I don't really care. I don't know. But please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think. Thank you guys for putting up with this stream for ARMS and Splatoon Direct. VidMe, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, all the fun stuff in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh.